Step into the unknown with the shadow frequency and your host, Matt Wilson, as he takes you where the shadows hum.
Welcome to the Shadow Frequency, episode 154, where we dive into the eerie and unexplainable corners of our world. I'm Juniper, your producer, and tonight we're stepping into a chilling tale that blurs the line between past and present. In 1957, three young Royal Navy cadets wandered into the quiet village of Kersey, Suffolk, only to find themselves in what felt like a medieval ghost town frozen in time. Was it a glitch in reality, a portal to another century, or something even stranger? Get ready for spying, tingling journey as we unravel the Kersey Village Time Slip. Matt, this one's got that creepy vibe you love, feeling ready to step back in time?
Oh, Juniper, you know I'm always ready to chase a good paranormal mystery.
Right.
This one's got everything. Silence that swallows sound, a village that shouldn't exist, and a feeling of being watched by unseen eyes.
Wow.
I'm already getting chills thinking about it.
Perfect, because our listeners are in for a haunting ride. Take us away, Matt, into the shadows of Kersey.
Welcome, Shadow Frequency listeners, to a tale that will make you question the very fabric of time itself. Picture this. It's October 1957, a crisp autumn morning in the rolling countryside of Suffolk, England. Three Royal Navy cadets, William Lang, Michael Crowley, and Ray Baker, all just 15 years old, are on a routine map-reading exercise. Their mission is simple: navigate a few miles to the quaint village of Kersey, observe, and report back. But what they encountered was anything but routine. This is the story of the Kersey Village Time Slip, a paranormal event that defies explanation and lingers like a whisper from the past. As the cadets approached Kersey, they could see its church spire piercing the sky, hear the bells ringing out for Sunday service, and spot wisps of smoke curling from chimneys. It was a postcard-perfect English village, alive with the hum of rural life. But as they crossed into the village, something shifted. The church bells fell silent. The birds stopped singing. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. The cadets later described an eerie stillness, as if the world had been draped in a heavy, suffocating veil. Ducks stood motionless in a stream, and not a single soul walked the streets. William Lang, the group's leader, later recalled it was a ghost village, so to speak. It was almost as if we had walked back in time. The houses they passed were not the modern homes of 1957, but ancient timber-frame structures. Their windows glazed but dirty. Their interiors stark and empty. No furniture, no signs of life, just an unsettling void. The trees, which should have been ablaze with autumn hues, were inexplicably verdant, as if spring or summer had reclaimed them. Most chillingly, the church tower, so prominent from a distance, was nowhere to be seen once they entered the village. The cadets, growing uneasy, peered into what they thought was a butcher's shop. Inside, they saw 2 or 3 oxen carcasses hanging, skinned and green with rot, covered in cobwebs as if abandoned weeks ago. Lang noted, "Who would believe that in 1957 the health authorities would allow such conditions? The sight was so jarring, so out of place, that it sent shivers down their spines. They felt watched, as if unseen eyes followed their every move, filling them with a deep sense of sadness and dread." Petrified, the cadets hurried out of Kersey, their hearts pounding. As they climbed a small hill and glanced back, the village transformed. The church spire reappeared, smoke rose from chimneys, and the bells resumed their tolling. It was as if they had stepped out of a dream, or a nightmare, back into 1957. This wasn't just a strange moment forgotten with time. Years later, in the 1980s, Lang and Crowley reconnected and shared their memories, unable to shake the feeling that they had slipped into another era. They contacted Andrew McKenzie, a researcher with the Society for Psychical Research, who was captivated by their story. McKenzie believed they had experienced retrocognition, a rare phenomenon where the past becomes vividly present. His investigation revealed something astonishing. The building they described as a butcher shop had indeed been one, but not in 1957. It was registered as a butcher's from 1790 to 1905, and possibly earlier, a detail the cadets couldn't have known. Even more intriguing, Mackenzie linked the absence of the church tower to a specific time. St. Mary's Church in Kersey, with parts dating to the 12th century, had its tower construction halted during the Black Death around 1348 to 1349, when half the village's population perished. The tower wasn't completed until 1481. Mackenzie theorized the cadets had glimpsed Kersey in the aftermath of the plague, around 1420, when the village was recovering but the church remained unfinished, hidden by trees. The Kersey Time Slip isn't just a story, it's a haunting window into a past that reached out and pulled three young men into its grasp. Juniper, this one's got me wondering if time is as linear as we think. What's your take so far?
Matt, this is wild. I mean, stepping into a medieval village with rotting carcasses and no church tower?
Right.
It's like they walked through a door to the 15th century. I'm hooked. Our listeners must be too.
Oh, I bet they're on the edge of their seats. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll dive deeper into what might lie behind this chilling mystery. Over to you, Juniper.
Whoa, listeners, how eerie was that? The Kersey Time Slip has me picturing those cadets standing in a silent, ghostly village surrounded by a past that shouldn't be there. What do you think? Did they really step back in time, or is it something else at play? We'll find out more in the second half. While you're pondering, please like and subscribe on the Shadow Frequency at YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, and any podcast directory you listen on. Visit our website at shadowfrequencypodcast.com to listen to all of our episodes. Leave us a voicemail telling us where you're listening from. Or you can check out our Shadow blog with articles for each episode, and you can grab some cool swag at our store. Or if you like, you can buy us a coffee to keep the show going. Now let's dive into the mailbag segment where we share your thoughts and stories. Keep those messages coming to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. All right, now reach over and hit the button.
It's time for the Shadow Frequency mailbag.
All right, listeners, it's time for the mailbag, and we've got a great one today from Martin in New Mexico. He writes, "Hey, Shadow Frequency team, I'm a huge fan of your cryptid episodes, Bigfoot, Mothman, you name it. I listen every day while driving through the desert under those big starry skies. There's something about your creepy stories that make the open road feel even more mysterious. Keep up the spooky work, Matt and Juniper." Well, thanks, Martin, for the love. We're thrilled you're enjoying the show out there in New Mexico. Keep those messages coming to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. All right, Matt, take us back to Kersey. What's next?
Welcome back, Shadow Frequency listeners, to the chilling mystery of the Kersey Village Time Slip. We left off with three Royal Navy cadets, William Lang, Michael Crowley, and Ray Baker, seemingly stepping into a medieval version of Kersey, Suffolk in 1957. The silent streets, the vanished church tower, the rotting oxen in a butcher's shop that hadn't existed for decades, it's the kind of story that makes you feel like time itself might be playing tricks on us. Let's dive deeper into what might have caused this paranormal phenomenon. One theory is that Kersey is a hotspot for temporal anomalies. The village's history is steeped in tragedy, particularly the Black Death, which decimated its population in the 14th century. Some paranormal researchers believe that places marked by intense suffering can become thin spots in reality, where the veil between past and present weakens. William Lang's description of feeling sadness and depression and unseen watchers suggests they may have tapped into a lingering emotional echo from that dark time. Could the cadets have crossed a threshold into a moment when Kersey was still reeling from the plague, its streets empty and its church tower incomplete? Another possibility is that they experienced a collective vision, a shared glimpse into the past triggered by the village's ancient energy. The fact that the houses appeared hand-built with no signs of 1950s modernity like telephone lines or cars supports the idea that they saw Kersey as it was centuries ago. The verdant trees in autumn and the sudden shift back to normal as they left the village add to a sense of temporary rift in time. Paranormal researcher Andrew Mackenzie, who documented the case in his book Adventures in Time, was convinced this was a genuine case of retrocognition, where the past becomes as real as the present. But let's consider another angle, one that doesn't involve the supernatural. Some historians suggest the cadets might have been disoriented by Kersey's old-fashioned appearance. In 1957, rural England still had pockets that looked untouched by time, with medieval timber-framed houses and no modern utilities in some areas. The cadets, being young city boys, might have exaggerated the strangeness in their minds, especially years later when they retold the story. Ray Baker, one of those three, reportedly remembered nothing unusual, which could indicate the experience wasn't as vivid for all of them. Could it have been a case of derealization, a psychological state where reality feels dreamlike, amplified by the quiet, isolated setting? Still, the butcher shop detail is hard to dismiss. How could three teenagers know a building was once a butcher shop, a fact only confirmed decades later through historical records? And the absence of the church tower, which should have been visible, aligns eerily with a specific historical period. Whether it was a true time slip or a trick of the mind, the Kersey incident leaves us with more questions than answers. It's a reminder that time might not be as fixed as we believe, and some places hold secrets that defy our understanding. Juniper, this case is like stepping into a fog where the past and present collide. What's your final thought on this one?
Matt, I'm still spooked thinking about those cadets standing in a village that felt so wrong.
Right.
The idea of unseen watchers at a missing church tower, it's like the past reached out to grab them.
Yeah.
I'm dying to know what our listeners think.
Oh, I bet they've got theories. All right, Juniper, wrap us up and let's send our listeners back to the present. Hopefully.
That's a wrap on episode 154 of The Shadow Frequency, where we ventured into the haunting mystery of the Kersey Village Time Slip. From a silent medieval village to rotting carcasses and unseen watchers, this tale reminds us that time might not always play by the rules. A huge thanks to our listeners for joining us on this eerie journey. Head over to Shadow Frequency Podcast to catch all of our episodes. Check out the Shadow blog, grab some swag, or leave a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you. You can also follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, and the podcast platforms to keep those emails coming to shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Matt, any final words before we slip back to reality?
Just one. Stay curious and watch out for those cracks in time.
Well said. Until next time, keep your eyes on the shadows and your ears tuned to the Shadow Frequency. Goodbye,
Bye, everyone.
This episode was produced with a commitment to exploring the unexplained while grounding our discussion in documented discoveries. All interpretations are speculative and intended for entertainment purposes.